I built a brand new app. It's a little bit Mark Zuckerberg-y, but bear with me and I'll show you what it is. This is called the HotShot app. Now, if you remember, Zuckerberg, when he was in college, built an app that allowed people to vote on whether someone was hot or not. This is sort of like that, but it is for yourself. It is to figure out like what LinkedIn headshot is best, what actor headshot is best, what Instagram photo would be best. And I built this not because I think it's some huge issue that everyone's dealing with, but because I was wasting so much time going through like 100 photos and they're not really that different, and I just needed the decision to be made faster. And a lot of this is like if I'm at a conference and I just need to post a nice looking photo that doesn't have, I don't know, me blinking or something like that. So this was to solve a very small problem in my life, but I just want to show it off, not because I think it is incredibly high value, though if it is to you, let me know, but because you can build things like this, even if it only solves a tiny problem. So we're going to double click the HotShot icon. I built this as a macOS bundle, meaning the entire folder, all the files that you need are saved in one folder, and it is accessible via just a double click off the desktop. So all I have to do is double click that. It opens it up locally so that I can run it. You can also make it public if you wanted to use like Vercel or something. But for now, the HotShot app is only on my computer. And then if I wanted friends to run it locally, I could also just package up those folders, give it to a friend. They could open up Claude Code and say, hey, Allie just gave me all these files in a folder. Can you help me figure out how to turn it into a Mac app bundle? And it'll do the exact same thing. And it already has the icon in there, and so it would take not that long. Okay, this allows you to drag in, and because I love Ben Stiller and I saw that Dodgeball was available on Netflix, I'm going to do a Ben Stiller test. So you can drag in 5 shots of the same photo shoot. You could drag in 6 different shots. Obviously, numbers 4 and 6 are standing out a little bit more. Don't know why, just feels that way. And if he was in, say, a shot with multiple people, in order to label which person that you wanted that, judgment on or whatever, you would add in a reference photo. And I'll show you one more example if we have time after this. Okay, so I've uploaded these photos. I'm going to call out a few things that I had Claude Code do before we hit enter. So first, this icon you'll see doesn't match the icon on my desktop. It's like a mini version. A lot of companies do this where they have a shrunken down version that's a little bit easier to see. So that might be something that I change. I also added the little favicon because I hated when I had multiple tabs open that I couldn't find it quickly. So I changed that. I had it come up with like a little tagline. This reference photo wasn't actually in there as an initial feature, but I was uploading photos of me and a friend, 3 shots. She is not me, and the HotShot app was like, you look great in this one because of your black shirt. And I'm like, black shirt? I'm wearing a blue shirt. And it was because it was picking out her face. So I added in the ability to do a reference photo. In terms of this functionality, dropping photos to compare, one was that it wasn't allowing me to upload HEIC files, which are like native iPhone images. And if I'm airdropping photos from my phone and I really quickly want to decide, then I have to have all of those file types be accessible. So I added that functionality. Originally, this neon yellow phrase, drop photos to compare, was grayed out. And I was like, no, you need like something to pull your eye. So I made that yellow. Originally, these numbers, I think didn't exist, and then I added numbers, and they were black with white text. They were impossible to see, so I made them a little bit more accessible. I made it neon yellow. It didn't used to have the ability to clear, so if you had uploaded images and you wanted to do something else, you had to restart the app. So this is all to say that I want you to iterate on whatever app this thing is, even if it's disposable software, even if you think you're only going to use it once, because it gets you in to that product mindset to thinking about how someone's going to use this, thinking about the right features to add. Okay, so we are going to hit Analyze Photos. Now, I built a bunch of fancy facial recognition things using this reference photo. It is not needed when you're only uploading single shot images. Okay, the way that the app is going to respond to me, I also specified. So originally it was telling you what it thought of every single image, and only at the very bottom did it tell you the image that it picked. That was annoying, so I wanted the winning shot to be above that line, to be the first thing that you saw. I also like to feel like I'm in control, and so don't just tell me the one that wins, give me a few options. So I had it name a winner and then also a runner-up. Looks like winning photo, thank God, is number 6. Why? It's the most natural. It's the most candid. Shows personality. I also, like, the prompt that I gave it was not, tell me when I look hottest. It was like, tell me when I look most authentic. Tell me when I look most, sorry, well, I adjust my legs because I'm sitting on the floor. Tell me when I look, most like myself, most thriving, most alive. And so, Ben Stiller, you look great in photo 6, and runner-up, sort of unsurprisingly, is photo 4. It gives a rundown of every single photo, what it thought, the lighting and shadows. Most of this is actually just a workspace to then pick the winner, so you could also hide this detailed breakdown. And then at the very bottom, some tips for next time, like ditching the formal suits. You want polished casual. Smize with your eyes more. Also, I want you to see there's an error here where all the tips are numbered 1. And so I can ask Claude Code, hey, when you give the tips at the bottom, they're not numbered correctly. Can you fix that? But I don't really care about that. Okay, if we delete 4 and 6, we can rerun it to see which one of his suit images is most delightful. So which one do I think it's going to be? I think it's going to be 3 or 4. 1 is a little too close up. 2 is a little bit, serious. 4, he's got a little bit of the smize action. And 3, I just really like the glasses. I like the half open mouth. It just seems a little bit more cash. The actual analyzer, see, winning photo, number 4. Oh, interesting, photo 2. Slightly more formal than ideal. Okay, and then we get the whole feedback. There were a couple other things that I built in here, so I want to show you the ability to do that reference photo. And so even though it is probably going to bite me in the butt, let's see. We are going to put in the reference photo. This is just a quick screenshot that I did of some other JPEG, so I threw this in there. That is the reference photo of me. I had it add that little label of like, that's me, as a visual, verbal confirmation, or written confirmation, to the user that like, hey, that's that reference photo, now give me the actual shots. And again, these are those HEIC files that didn't work the original time. Here are 3 photos of me with my beautiful, brilliant friend, Punky, and we're gonna see which one AI picks. You can see that options 1 and 2 are this like blue light because we were in CES. There were weird lighting options all around. Number 3 is a bit warmer tone, so it'll be interesting to see which one it picks. I don't think any of these are that great. The lighting is a little wonky. It doesn't really show much in the background, but we'll just see what it says. You could also add in a lot more advanced features. You could have it access the segment anything models like SAM2 from Meta. You could have it segment out that person. Okay, so unsurprisingly here, it picks the one that has a bit more natural lighting, that warm lighting. And it even calls out the warmer lighting, creates a more flattering golden glow, your smile looks natural, awesome. And then photo 2, slightly better lighting than option 1. I also just like that the headline of the sign behind me is not cut off. So I would have also picked photo 2 over photo 1, but for other reasons. Okay, it goes through the whole thing, it gives me feedback, awesome. What have we learned here? Number 1 is you can make anything. You don't have to know how to implement facial recognition technology to be able to talk to Claude Code to say, hey, I want to build this thing. It kept finding my friend's face. How can I solve that? And then maybe it would suggest pulling in some sort of face API to be able to find that person. It might do embedding search. It might do sort of segmentation to find the other person. It doesn't really matter, but you can test it. You can see if it works. You can even see here that I've created a folder literally just to be able to test this. I can also ask Claude Code to access the HotShot App test folder to run its own testing so that I don't necessarily have to. I can make iterative edits. Like the first version that I created, you could upload photos, you could have it judge you, and then you would get this feedback. The feedback wasn't in the way that I wanted. It would take too long to read through everything to then pick out the winner. It wasn't accepting the right file formats that I wanted. And so you just have to get started. Like, ask this system, ask Claude Code and say, use the Ask User Questions interview tool. It'll interview you and ask you questions about what sort of app you want to build. Maybe you wouldn't have gotten to the point of saying, hey, I probably need a reference photo just in case some of these photos have multiple people. The whole goal is to get a pretty good first draft and to then iterate. And again, you might keep all these on your desktop. You might only need to access one, and so you can hide it in folders, and you can just ask Claude Code, hey, can you open the so-and-so app? You can turn local apps like this one into a public-facing app where you have a platform like Vercel hosting the actual compute that's required so that it's not using just like a server running on my laptop. I could change the background colors. I ended up using Claude Code's built-in front-end design plugin to be able to build this out. The original design was boring. And so it selected this beautiful new font. I just want to advocate for people to have an idea, and instead of doing what you've been doing for the last 30 years, which is toiling in a room alone thinking, man, I'll never get to do that. Everyone else is doing this entrepreneurial thing. I'll never be able to. That's the life. Too bad I can't have it. Literally open up Claude Code on your computer. Say, I want to build an app selection, app, or an app that tells me what surfing quality is going to happen every day so that I can plan my surfing trips around it. And based on when it is good to surf, I want it to pre-block off my calendar, and I want it to automatically email my friends telling them that I'm planning on surfing on Thursday. And I also want it to order new goggles for me that gets here in time. Whatever it is, you should now go from idea to action, get that draft and iterate, instead of idea to toiling to delay. All right, that's it. My name's Allie K. Miller. I'm the #1 most followed voice in AI business. I think every single person, software engineer or not, should be using AI coding tools like Claude Code or OpenAI Codex or Cursor or Replit or Lovable or any of these things to build the solutions that they want in life. I've got a ton of free AI resources and courses at the link in my bio, and I hope you follow along for more.